Hey, what's up, everybody? So, what I want to do is take this time out to really just um, kind of give you guys another weekly outlook. So, obviously, I do the main one for the Trading Nut podcast, but I want to kind of have this live on my page as well. And so, this is probably going to be a regular thing. Just each week, I'm going to take a few minutes to really just kind of dive in, deep dive on this channel as far as just things that can help traders, right? So want to be able to continue to provide more and more resources back to the community. And I think that the YouTube channel is a really good place to do that since there's a lot of traders on here. So the first thing I'm really going to get a better understanding of, when I step to the terminal each week is a few things. So I want to know what the overall like narrative is in the market. I want to be able to kind of pair that with a bias when it comes to trading as well. So when I do my breakdowns every week, I always start with, obviously dollar index because that's going to give us the better understanding. If we understand where dollar's going, then we can understand how that's going to react to individual markets, but also getting a better understanding of, the weekly calendar. And this is something that I don't talk too much about or haven't talked too much about yet. And so I want to kind of take some time and break this down, and then we can go into the charts too. So, when I plan my trading week, we know that the volatility is most likely going to happen around news releases. Now, if you're coming from a different world outside of like the forex world or the indice world, um, or futures world, right? They're going to be a little bit different than your standard stock news releases. They don't happen, there's not as many releases as there are, and there's not as many things that can kind of affect these indices or these forex networks, forex markets overall. There's the same news releases. You'll see them happen on a routine basis. And so when I step to the terminal, the first thing I do is look at the news calendars to get a better understanding of what the news is and get a better understanding of like events that I need to stay away from or kind of get a better sense of when the volatility is going to happen. And so if I'm looking at the markets this week, we can see like coming into tomorrow, so this is Sunday, March 24th. We can see that there's not really a whole lot going on Monday. I tend to look for red folder news and events that are going to be very event driven and big news. And so we go into Tuesday, we can see that, consumer confidence is going to be the Tuesday activity at 10 a.m. And that's going to be the main driver. So me personally, I try to stay away from trading on Mondays, and I do my best to not trade on Fridays as well. And I talk to my students about that, but it has a lot to do with how the market delivers price. And so I really try to find the most optimal setups. And try to get in and out of the market. And so the reason for that is because I've done a lot of research, just both for me trading for so many years, but then also just kind of understanding how decision fatigue works and how the psychological aspects of over trading. And essentially when you make a lot of decisions throughout the course of a week, or the course of a day, each decision gets made with less and less accuracy or less and less. And there's a lot of studies done on, what happens to a person's brain or what happens to a person's mental when they have to make a bunch of decisions, especially high pressure decisions like trading over and over and over again. And so I try to think that less is more. And I think that, you see the best traders overall don't try and trade every day, right? They try to find their best ideal setups and then get out of the market. And so, with that in mind, again, framing out the high level, the high news activities that I should stay away from is also going to help me kind of, form that out. So again, so jumping back into this, so obviously Tuesday we have consumer confidence. This is a red folder news. So, potentially looking for opportunities on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday are my main trading days. And so really getting a better sense of like what the main activities are going to be are going to help you kind of figure out what exactly, um, where exactly to plan your moves and how to apply that to the charts. And so Thursdays, we can see here on Thursday at 8 a.m., there's two sets of red folder news. This is going to be a pretty big news day. And so I should be expecting a lot of volatility. I think by then, usually Thursdays, we're into the overall market direction for the week. And so, this might kickstart it off, right? Or Wednesday's news at 6 p.m. might have something to do with, some volatility in the market. So getting a better sense of this is going to help me understand like how to plan my trading week, what to expect, and when I should be in the markets and when I should be out of the markets. And so there's nothing here really that would stop me from trading. The red folder events that I try to stay away from or stay out of the markets from are FOMC, anything FOMC related during my sessions, anything NFP related, and then anything with like CPI or PPI. Those are the big news events that I try to stay out of the markets for. But nothing this week that would stop me from entering a position during these times. And so it's really just kind of getting a better understanding of when this is going to happen because these are probably going to be the most volatile days. So Thursday is probably going to be a very volatile trading day. Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I probably will are the most optimal days for the way that I trade. So I'll probably be looking for a lot of setups and a lot of the things that we're looking for to see happen play out on Tuesday and Wednesday. Um, but again, if situations present itself on Thursday, then I would look to trade too if I don't already have a great position or a good position on Tuesday or Wednesday. So again, yeah, I think of trading as kind of like being a sniper instead of being like a machine gun, right? So it's just I'm looking for one good shot or two good shots a week, and that's all I'm doing, and I'm getting out, and then I'm, reevaluating my trades, looking at my setups, and then going from there. So knowing that we're stepping into the charts, knowing that we're going to be looking for opportunities to trade on Tuesday and Wednesday, that's also going to help us pull back with some of the concepts that I teach, including like power of three and when to expect the reversal in the market. Usually there's a reversal that happens every week in the market. And so seeing that is going to help us know that, okay, we should be looking for probably, in this case, Tuesday or Wednesday to probably make the higher low of the week. And so if we go down to the daily time frame, I'm sorry, in the weekly time frame on dollar. And again, I start with dollar because if we get a better understanding of dollar, then we can always move and with a bias that we can apply to our individual markets, whether that's the Forex market, whether that's the indices, but dollar is king. So if you understand dollar and you understand the relationships to the pairs that you trade that dollar has, you should be good for forming a bias. So jumping into the weekly time frame again. Um, there's a couple things that I've been looking at that I wanted to see happen. And so I talked about this on Trading Nut, but really, this is a great opportunity. Um, this last week was a great opportunity for what happens when you see um, your plans not necessarily work, or the bias is wrong. And so last week, I wanted to see price really continue on and use this fair value gap to continue on and go short. There was a few things here that I was seeing that really kind of painted a picture as to price wanting to continue to go down, and we didn't get that in the market. So what I want to see here this week on dollar is really price respect a few levels here. So now that we have on the weekly time frame, if I jump back up, now that we've solved price fail to respect this imbalance. It is now inverted. And so I want to see potentially what happens when price comes back down here. So I'm going to make this note. I'm going to say, and so I'm in the process of potentially changing my bias here. And so I want to see what happens over the next few weeks. If we zoom out and look at a bigger picture of what's going on, we are sitting currently at an equilibrium level of this current price swing around equilibrium. So I want to see what happens, when price um, continues to go higher. And so ideally, my target for this week is going to be this sitting right here. This is the best case scenario target. There's a couple levels as we jump down to the 4-hour time frame that I will continue to post or kind of make notes of. But ideally, coming into last week, I wanted to see price respect this Civi, and it did not. And so price continued to drive down and go deeper. I'm sorry, go higher when I wanted to see go deeper. And so that's cool. Nobody's going to be 100% right when it comes to their bias. And so we did get a couple days of rejection here where, you could have seen price really capitalize on these market momentum moves going bearish, or a day where price went bearish. But overall, we didn't respect this. So moving forward, what I want to potentially see here is I want to see price really reach for this high. I think we're going to be heading towards this high, but there's a couple levels that we could potentially be calling out. This is 104.87 is the target that I'll be looking for, but I also want to make notes of a few things. The first thing is this volume balance sitting here. As we trade back into this overall weekly fair value gap here. We've already traded through it once, but just making note of a few key levels at 104.40. That's going to be the consequent encroachment. And then jumping back down to that daily time frame. This volume imbalance sitting here, and I'll make that black so you can see it. Um, and then this high here, which obviously I've already called out as the target that I want to see price hit. So I'm going to make a money sign here. And anytime you see this is what it means for us to be hunting buy side liquidity. So anytime I see it use a green dollar sign or just write BSL, it's buy side. So ideally, what I want to see price here is continue to go up. What I want to see again, prices start out the week by giving us kind of a pullback level. I don't think we'll pull back all the way back down to this inverted fair value gap. It's kind of far. Um, but ideally, jumping down to the 4-hour time frame or even the 1 hour, I'll start there. There's a couple levels optimal that I'd like to see price really trade into. This would be like the most optimal level that I would want to see price trade into. And I'm jumping down to the 1 hour time frame here. But this fair value gap that's at 103.74 would be like the best case scenario. Um, I could see it going a little bit lower, but actually, I'm gonna move this down here. Let me see where this is at. Relation. Weekly. Yeah, I don't see it going all the way back down there. So um, I want to see price potentially can go into this for old imbalance here on the 1 hour time frame and see price trade into this. That would be the most optimal setup. But I want to see price really trade, give us some type of opportunity to trade back down into this at best, or respect this potential order block here and go higher. But I'll be looking for price at the best case scenario. If I had to give it like an A plus setup, that would be this 103.80 level and see price really trade higher. So I'm bullish on dollar and I want to see things continue to go higher. Um, we could see kind of like a fail-safe level of price trading back down to this inverted fair value gap. If that happens, I won't be surprised, but I'm not expecting it. So I want to see price continue to do something like this. Worst case scenario, we trade down here, but I think just because if you look at the daily time frame, we've had pretty strong rejections away from this imbalance. I don't think it's really going to come back and test, but if it does, then I'll be looking to potentially buying opportunities off of this daily order block here at the best case scenario at 103.52. Um, so overall, I'm going to be bullish on dollar, and at least until we take out this high or trade back into this further into this fair value gap. Again, we've already mitigated this imbalance, this fair value gap um, completely when we traded through here, but it looks like we're not done. So I want to see how price reacts um, here. So overall, we're going to be bullish, right? So if we're bullish on dollar, we want to see, I'm going to make a big note. I want to see USD pairs go bullish. We want to see pairs with the USD secondary go bearish. And these are just for my Forex people. If you want to see, or my currency exchange or currency foreign exchange people, um, we want to see potentially prices go higher with anything that has the dollar in front go higher, anything with the dollar's secondary pair go bearish. So Euro USD, we want to see this go lower. And if we open up Euro, there's a few things that kind of lend itself to the idea of us not going any higher. So, coming into last week on Euro, what I wanted to see here was price really respect and trade into this old imbalance here. So I'm just gonna mute this really quickly. But this old imbalance here at 101.0873 and then 1.0857, this old fair value gap BISI. I wanted to see price here and really trade into this and go higher to start the week off. So boom, boom. And we didn't get that. So this gap was pretty much disrespected and not maintained. And so there's a couple things that I'll be watching out for. Again, we are building some type of trend line liquidity here. So again, I might also be in the position of changing my bias here. And this is kind of what stuff looks like in real time when you're changing a potential bias. And so if I zoom out a little bit, just long term, we can see just like dollar, we're sitting at a level of equilibrium. If we look at this price swing to this price swing, we've really been dancing around this 50% level, this equilibrium level. And so that's kind of letting us know that I don't want to have a long-term bias in the market, but I want to just kind of look for short-term opportunities to grab liquidity short-term based on the weekly time frame. So there's a couple levels that I'll be looking at here. I really want to see price take out this low. That's kind of like my all-time, kind of like the main level that I'm really focused at on Euro. If I was trading Euro again, I don't really trade indices or um, Forex as much anymore. I'm really focused on indices. But if I was trading Euro, what I would want to see is price, how price reacts against um, this old imbalance that it just now respected, which is now going to be an inverted. So let me go ahead and make this inverted. And whenever I trade on these time frames, I try not to have too much stuff on my charts to confuse me. So now that this bias is no longer what I'm going to be seeing in the short term, um, we can get rid of that. And so I'm leaving this on my charts because overall we've been dancing in and around this fair value gap. We've also really respected this, right? So you can see here that this old imbalance here, get rid of that. We've also we've done respected the lows of it, and we've also, we've really pretty much been trading here. So I will leave this on my charts because I just want to get a better understanding of where the low, middle, and high as well as consequent encroachment are of this. But also, seeing if this is, lining up with our dollar analysis, we do want to see this taken. So I'll be looking to trade, the first target I'll be looking for here is really how price reacts. And as I go down to the daily time frame. I want to see how price reacts um, at this low, really. I mean, this is kind of like the main low, but also going back up the time frame, the first level will be the low of this fair value gap at 1.0758, just because we haven't really gotten a clean break of this yet. It's been very respected. This order block has pretty much kept everything in intact. Um, so I'll be looking for this to be my ultimate target on Euro. Best case target. So best case target is here. And then how price really reacts and respects the end of this fair value gap is also something I'll be watching and paying attention to as well. Um, so I'll make a note here and I'll say like secondary target. Or I guess primary target, I'm sorry. This will be like the first initial target is trading to the low of that fair value gap. I honestly would like to see something like this in the best case scenario. where we continue to drive lower. As I go to the daily time frame, again, seeing price, 1 hour, hour. Yeah, seeing price really do something similar to this, where it trades back up into this range here. And at this point, I'd look to potentially go short. So we could see price, really trading back into this imbalance at the high end, really retesting it. Maybe it wicks into this old inverted fair value gap and then continues to go lower or something like this, where it trades into that, maybe wicks into this, respects this imbalance, but wicks into this inverted fair value gap and continues to go lower. So that's what I'll be looking for. Again, breaking things down to like even just smaller time frames. I think that's yeah, a good estimate on where I think price is going to go. So zooming out, I'd like to see price do something like that over the next few days to a week. It might even just be over the next couple weeks. We could see 1 week of price going higher and trading to this level and then continuing to go down. So I'll be looking to take short positions. If I was trading euro, I'd be looking to take short positions on this and really trying to hit those initial targets here at 1.0752 or 1.07552 and then 1.6, make this straight, 1.06971. So again, that's where I'll be looking lean into for euro. If I go to GBP really quickly, I'll just tackle three of the bigger majors: GBP, euro, and then euros DJPY as well. So again, looking at GBP again, coming into this situation last week, it looks like my bias was off, and that's okay, right? That's okay. You just have to know how to adjust and make the adjustment and not be so stuck on your bias. So again, we're getting here, which looks like it could be a potential breaker situation. So we ran up, grabbed liquidity, and we didn't respect this fair value gap. If we take out this low and we close below this low at the end of the week, then we could see a longer term. Um, we might see a longer term drop. But right now, the thing to know is that when price trades at an equilibrium level or trades close to it, your first objective should be what is, where's the closest liquidity that we can run to? Maybe not even trying to predict the long-term trend because we're still waiting on the market to kind of give us that long-term trend. But really, where's the closest liquidity that the market's going to run to? And so again, um, this will probably be my long-term target from a weekly perspective is this low here. Again, just like on euro, we saw price really not regard this imbalance here. And so now it's an inverted. So I want to see price drive higher, start the week off, and really just look for opportunities that we can continue to go down. So again, this one's a little bit more clear. GBP is just like that. So ideally, in the best case scenario, I'd like to see price really run up higher and then take things lower, right? And really hitting that long-term target here. This will be my target for the week, or over the next week or two, right? Because it might not always play out as quickly as we want to see it. Dropping down to the hour time frame really quickly. I don't, mm, I don't see anything here that would cause me to. There's some secondary imbalances here that we could see price run to, but I think 100 pips up on GBP USD that's a very reasonable pullback. Um, and then go into the 4 hour really quickly. Yeah, just seeing this unmitigated space here. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a drive all the way back up into this old imbalance. So that's what I'll be looking for on GBP. And so this is like I said, this is a great week for knowing how to operate when your bias is not hit. So again, I'd like to see something like this happen over the next few weeks. And I'm not going to project any longer, or sorry, over the next week. So I'm not going to project anything longer. I see a world where price could continue to drop, especially in euro. Hopping back to euro really quickly, I see a world where price could potentially make lower lows and really dive down on the weekly time frame here into this realm. And this is something that I had called out a long time ago. Um, I see, like I saw a world where price could do that. But again, since price is sitting at the equilibrium level, you kind of have to let it mitigate itself and before it starts looking for, new liquidity. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Euro and GBP. Again, I want to see price continue to run lower and then hopping back to GBP really quickly. Um, we can see price, continue to give us um, again, entries and or potential opportunities is short. And that's going to be, I'm going to be start looking at 1.2693 in that old inverted fair value gap from 1.2693 to 1.27253. So just kind of getting a better understanding of what's going on there. So I think we could potentially run lower based on that. So that's what I'll be looking for on Euro and GBP. Let's hop down to USD JPY, which will be the last one that I'll talk about today. Um, so again, we know that dollar is going to be very similar to um, GBP. Um, I'm sorry, dollar is going to be very similar to USD JPY because they're both lead pairs. And so we saw this happen over the last couple days. We saw price really come here and take out that all-time high if we zoom out on a weekly time frame. And so there's a reason why the all-time highs on dollar, yen are here. And there's some macroeconomic stuff as well. I'm not going to get into that today, but just really purely looking at chart work. Um, we see that we're getting these highs here. So I really want to see price really come in and retest this all-time high. And so really we're just kind of building the case here for price to continue to go higher. So we go back to the weekly time frame. What I would like to see is price really retest a couple levels. And so um, ideally what I'll be looking for hopping back down to the daily is we already kind of traded this, is this level to be respected here. And so we traded into this. We've also respected this old imbalance here, this old fair value gap imbalance here. Uh, and so ideally, I want to see price continue to go higher and even looking at, yeah, everything is really telling us that we're looking for bullish activity here. So just like your dollar, the best case scenario or the most optimal kind of like trade scenario. Um, let me see. Yeah. The most optimal trade scenario would be trading back down here. I would love in an ideal world for price to really shake off some of the sellers or there's some of the buyers that are currently in the market and really look for sell side before going up. So I would love to see something like this play out over the next week. But we are noting that we are extremely bearish. This is like the optimal level for me. I would love to see price really, oops, come back into this zone here. I'm going to get rid of this so we can see. So yeah, so this low is really where I'll be looking at to start the week off. Um, yeah, 100%. I'll be looking for this level here at 150. Um, so I'm just making a note here that I'd love to see price really trade back into this range here to start the week. Looking for potentially a low to be formed on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then continue to take things to the higher to this all-time high. We could get as low as this old imbalance here. Um, but there's a few reasons why I just love this level. Um, and a lot of it has to do with the ideas of premium and discount. So I want to see price pull back to this level here and continue to go higher. And then in this level here, I would be looking at again is at 150.2. Let's call it 150.23. So if you're trading dollar again, or if you're trading dollar yen again, it's going to be very similar to what you're looking at on dollars. Is that they will have a very related relationship. So I want to see price continue to pull here and then go higher. And so that's all I'm going to touch on for Forex. So hopefully you guys update this, or sorry, update this. Hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. Something that's a low level lift and it's not really something I'm putting a lot of effort or emphasis into, as far as like kind of dressing these videos up. But I think just kind of like a raw, scaled, in real time breakdown, can definitely help you guys out a lot. So if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. But again, my standard process is this. I come to the terminal every week and I look for Forex Factory to see where the high data economic stuff, news events are going to hit, and then kind of dive into the charts to build the bias along with the narrative. And so again, putting all that stuff together really gives me a good trading plan to attack the week. If you're not sitting down and creating a trading plan on your weekends or when the market's closed, you're not really putting yourself in a good space to get uh, set yourself up to win next week. So hopefully this helps. And if you guys have any questions, let me know and we'll go from there. Peace.